They have made 6 of these damn movies already. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and on this channel it's my job to point you in the direction of movies worth checking out. So if that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button. And today we're hopefully discussing the final Terminator film, Terminator Dark Fate. And I say hopefully because just like Transformers, just like Pirates of the Caribbean, this franchise is 100% completely out of gas. But don't worry, this is not going to be a video where I just shit on this movie. This is not just a shit talking of Terminator Dark Fate, because there are some things in this movie that I actually really did enjoy. So let's talk about them. So I'll say this right off the bat. I thought that the action sequences were some of the best action sequences I've seen all year, because this movie did something that the first 2 Terminators did, was have a great threat as a great villain. The Rev 9, played by Gabriel Luna, is a great Terminator. I'll say that right now. And like I've said in my previous videos for the Terminator and Terminator 2, and you can find those right above me somewhere, I don't know what side it is, but you can see in those videos, I talk about the reason why those films work is that the mere threat of the Terminator is just so powerful. You know, like the first T-800 in the first movie, you know, you have Kyle Reese going, "Sarah, it will not stop. It will just not stop until you are dead." And then in Terminator 2, the T-1000 is an advanced prototype. I can't do Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you know what I mean, right? This looming doom. You know what I mean? This threat of the Terminator is just so powerful, and you're thinking to yourself, how in the world are our characters going to be able to defeat this thing? And because of that, you're more invested into the story. And I know a lot of modern movies have this problem, at least with me, where it's like, okay, I see the bad guy, I see their motivation. However, I just know that the hero is going to be able to defeat this guy. I like the characters, I like the story, I'm going to be invested into it. But really, I'm not that scared. You know, I'm not really like, oh my god, like this villain is going to destroy everything. You know that the hero is going to win. In this movie, I was genuinely concerned for the characters. You know, I'm like, how the hell are they going to defeat the Rev 9 Terminator? And Gabriel Luna, you know, fits the part. You know, he has that intimidating look like that Robert Patrick has from Terminator 2. And I do like the idea of the Terminator being like this super Terminator. You know, it can jump really, really high, it can run really, really fast. And you know, like this nanotechnology or whatever it is, like you see it in the trailer, like where he gets stabbed in the heart and then it's like the parts of the Terminator form another Terminator through the pole. I think that's actually pretty cool. And I like how intelligent the Rev 9 Terminator is. Like, for example, there is one scene where he knows where he is in the country, right? He's in southern Texas. And I'm Canadian, so again, don't get offended by this, any Texans out there. I've been to Houston this year. You guys are amazing, so you know, just wanted to get that out of the way. But there are some stereotypes in Canada especially, where if you say you're from the military, or you say that you pray, you immediately get some extra attention and you get some extra level of respect. And the Terminator knows this. So it's just a little tiny little, you know, point in the movie where I'm like, you know what? The Terminator knows its surroundings, and it's just gonna weave right through everybody to get to Daniela Ramos, who is the new John Connor or Sarah Connor in this movie. And I also like the new characters, you know, like Daniela Ramos, like you don't know too much about her, like she's fairly underwritten, but you know, she is well acted. And Grace, played by Mackenzie Davis, she plays like the Kyle Reese in this movie, but she's a badass version, you know, with, you know, an enhanced human. And an enhanced human versus an enhanced Terminator. You know, if you're gonna take the film into a new direction, you know, if you're gonna try to outdo Terminator 2 in terms of its action sequences, of course, you're not gonna do everything practical nowadays, just everything is CGI, and you can tell it in this movie for some parts. But I do like the idea of a superhuman versus a super Terminator, right? They're kind of like superheroes. And you know what? The action sequences in this movie were really, really good. However, this is where the problems start to arise, because looking at this film just as a film on its own, you know, it's not bad, right? Tim Miller did a pretty good job at directing it. You know, it looks good, it's well shot, it's well acted, the action sequences are exhilarating. You know what? Good job to Tim Miller for making this movie. However, this movie is called Terminator Dark Fate and is a sequel to The Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now, I'm not a very big fan of films retconning their previous films. Whether it's through time travel, whether that's through any other means necessary. I'm not a big fan of films like sequels in a franchise that make you feel like the struggle that the characters went through in the first 2 movies was all for nothing. The problem with this movie is the script, the story, and just like the creative ways to make the films like, okay, we gotta keep making these Terminator movies, you know, it's a franchise, people will, you know, go see them. This is Hollywood marketing strategies 101, right? Just put that name on it, we gotta keep making more of these. But the first 2 Terminator movies, especially Terminator 2, it tied up all loose ends. So naturally, every single sequel that comes after it, you're gonna feel cheated, right? Like, this film takes a dump on the legacy of the first 2 films. Now, I like Sarah Connor in this movie, right? I thought she was badass, I thought she was funny, and I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800. You know, I'm always gonna like Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800. But the fact that they're in this movie at all pisses me off. Because, again, looking at this movie on its own, it's not bad. It's a fun action movie. But as a Terminator movie, you feel cheated while watching it. And I won't go into the main reasons why I feel cheated. I'm gonna do a Terminator tier list, so stay tuned for that, and I'll talk more about the entire franchise as a whole. Every single Terminator sequel feels like fan fiction, right? So if you've never seen any of the Terminator movies, and if you haven't and you're watching this video, well then thank you. The first 2 films, that's all you need. That is the Terminator story, and it's tied up loose ends so well that no matter what comes after that, it's just gonna feel cheap. It's gonna feel recycled, and that's a good word to use when describing this movie, recycled, because at the core of it, it's the exact same story we've seen over and over and over again. The good guys send someone back in time to protect somebody, and then the bad guys, the Terminator, send a bad Terminator back in time to kill this one character. And both of them fight over the one character, and that's the entire story. It's the exact same thing. We've seen that story 5 times. The only movie where we have not seen that is Terminator Salvation, and that's why I give that movie a little bit of a pass, because I like seeing a post-Judgment Day Terminator movie, but we'll talk about that in another movie. But as for Terminator Dark Fate, it was disappointing because I know that this film takes place in a giant franchise and not just in a vacuum. So with that being said, I'm going to give this movie a 2 out of 5. And I'm going to talk about this movie more in the tier list video that's going to come out very, very soon, because I'm going to talk about all the movies, I'm going to talk about where this fits in with everything else, and why I feel cheated about it. So I'm not going to do any spoilers here. So on a movie on its own, it has some really good things in it. But as a Terminator movie, you just feel like it takes a dump on the legacy of the first 2 movies, which are really, really well received and well loved movies. And you just feel cheated. And that's really the main reason why I don't think that this film will be, you know, watched by me or watched by many other people years down the road. People will only stick with the first 2 movies. So anyways, guys, tell me what you thought of Terminator Dark Fate down in the comment section down below. Are you like me, where if you just watch the movie, you know, you don't think about anything else? It's an okay movie, right? But when you look at it as a series, it just feels very lackluster and mediocre. Anyways, guys, whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section down below. And like I said in the beginning, if you're new to this channel and you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that this Terminator franchise will not be back.